Hello and welcome to this edition of the Snowflake Sports Podcast. I am your host Dan, and it is officially the NFL season. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I'm recording this at 8:20 on September 8th. So right now, the Cardinals and the what was they playing? Detroit. It looks like they're about to tie it in overtime. So basically, I've got all the late night games, but I'm recording this before the Steelers and Patriots game on NBC. So I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to talk about the whole Antonio Brown fiasco that was the past 4 days. Then I'm going to I'll start with the Bears-Packers game. I'll talk about the Bills-Jets game. Just kind of round up the rest of the NFL, and then I'm going to finish with the U.S.-Mexico soccer game, because I enjoyed watching that game. Well, not really, because the United States was terrible and got killed, but I think it's important in the process of trying to qualify for the World Cup again. So, but yeah, let's get it. So, Antonio Brown, he posted to Instagram about a fine he got from the Raiders for being detrimental to the team, kind of missing practices for the feet, the whole helmet thing, just kind of being like a just moody diva in a sense. And then so the initial post showed a 14 grand fine, and then some news came out that he got into Mike Mayock's face and that he would fuck him up, and then he proceeded to punt a ball during practice or something. So it was really kind of crazy behavior in a sense. And then so supposedly the Raiders, not supposedly, but they fined him about $215,000 total, and they were gonna avoid the $29 million guaranteed money that he's about to get for his suspension. And also the Raiders sent him a letter telling him that he's not entitled to termination pay. So this basically meant that he would be playing on a week-to-week basis with no guaranteed money or termination pay. So, if he got fined by the NFL or suspended or something, he wouldn't get any money. So the Raiders were kind of just trying to protect themselves in a sense, so that he would actually play or just be part of their system. But then, so on Saturday they cut in around noon, maybe a little afternoon. And no team could pick him up until I think 4 or so, and then the Patriots seemed like they just got him instantly. 1-year deal for $9 million. So that's great, and not really though. It's terrible, and Patriots are pretty much going to go 19-0. But anyway, so once AB was cut, he recorded a video of himself running around back here. He's like, "I'm free," and he's just being kind of childish with the whole situation. You've only been on this team for an off season. You've already been batting heads with this. You've been there. I don't even know how many months. Maybe 4 total. Probably less than that. But the situation is kind of weird, cause cutting him, they saved a ton of money for the Raiders, and it looked like AB was going to be a distraction all season long. I don't know. The Raiders, were they supposed to be that good this year? They probably would have been 8-8. Their division's tough. Their schedule's pretty rough too. I think when they play the Broncos this week, and Chris Amato was saying a couple weeks ago that they could easily, if they don't win that Broncos game, they could easily go 0-5. Oh, but they played the Colts. Who actually they look kind of good today. They played the Chargers to overtime. But so cutting him now saves you money. That's pretty much just the only thing. But on the other hand, you have a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL right now that will help out Derek Carr in your offense, and I don't think you could find someone equivalent, even with that much cap space. Maybe down the line you could sprinkle that in other places, but you need better wide receivers to let loose. Yes, they signed Tyrell Williams, who should certainly help out, but I just don't see him as a number 1 wide receiver, or he's not even on par with Antonio Brown. Like they were going through the stats today, where it's like he's since 2010 he's had like the most receptions, yards, touchdowns. Or it was just like an array of stats that he leads in. And pretty much this whole year they're banking on having him to help out their offense and just kind of really help out Derek Carr. And I don't know what Carr's gonna do now. Like I think he's pretty good. I don't know if he's I think he's like borderline top 10 maybe. But yeah, like I think he can manage. But honestly, with like Mike Mayock and just the whole organization, I just think they should have tried to done more to keep him. I think he's just like too good to just like cut him straight out. Like you basically, I mean, you didn't really lose anything. You lost like a third and a fifth round pick and like a player that I totally don't remember. But it just seemed like this whole thing just spiraled out of control over the last 4 days. Like he's your best player in your team. You need to like start a conversation with him. Like why is everything so bad? Why is everything so bad? But I mean, on the other hand, Antonio Brown and just everything with this helmet, this cryotherapy, like I don't even know what he was mad. Like I guess the fines, which like I don't know, maybe not fine him, but he's still he's still missing practice. He wasn't being like there for the team. But there's got to be. I don't know. I really wish they had like an additional Hard Knocks episode where they just had like Gruden, Mayock in the room and just like arguing, because it seemed like at least in Hard Knocks or in the press, like Gruden liked Brown, and like even today when he cut Brown, he said like Brown's like a good person, hope for the best for him, blah blah blah. So it seems like that relationship was good. It just seemed with like Mayock and Brown was bad. So like maybe Mayock has some ego to him. And yeah, so I forget where I was going with this. And I guess so he signed with the Pats, and so now the Patriots will have Antonio Brown, they'll have Josh Gordon, they'll have the reigning Super Bowl MVP Julian Edelman. They re-signed Demaryius Thomas, and they still have first-round pick N'Keal Harry. I think they have technically 7 wide receivers on the roster. I think they'll have to cut one. I don't know who it will be. It will definitely not be maybe Demaryius, but like probably someone else that I do not know. But it's stacked. Like that is unbelievably stacked wide receiver core. And like as long as Josh Gordon can stay clean, as long as Antonio Brown can fit the system, which I think he absolutely will. Like the Patriots just run, as much as I hate them and despise them and their fans, they just run a very good organization. And people going in there with this like egos, it just seems like they just come out like I'm here to win. Like winning will solve everything too. Like once the Patriots start like rolling off wins, I think Brown will just be like, yeah, buddy, like we're good. And really though, with this team, I don't see anyone outside of the Chiefs really beating this team. But even then, like the Chiefs defense was terrible. They were bad this year. So like they're playing the Jags, right? And Nick Foles was looking pretty good. The Chiefs offense was killing the Jags. Like I think one of the first plays was a 68-yard touchdown to Sammy Watkins. And then like Nick Foles goes down. Then Gardner Minshew from Washington State, like little Uncle Rico lookalike. He came in and he threw like I think he was like 15 of 17, 185 yards in like a half. And he's like I don't even know what round, but he's like a rookie, and you could do that on the Chiefs. Like, of course, Tom Brady and the Pats are going to put up like 40 on them. So I'm fairly confident that the Pats will make the Super Bowl with, if not just totally win. They might even go 19-0. Like this wide receiver team is jacked. They still have Patrick Chung, like Van Noy, Stephon Gilmore on defense. Like, ugh. So, I don't remember if I said this when or no, I wasn't. I wasn't doing this podcast when the Super Bowl was going on. But basically, I almost didn't watch the Super Bowl this year because I didn't want to watch another Patriots victory. And I kind of wish I didn't because that game was kind of bad. Like, it was pretty boring. It was, it was a good defensive battle, but it just didn't really have much. And it didn't seem like the defensives were, well, no, they were great. They're fantastic, but it seemed like the offenses were making mistakes, and the touchdown drive really was only whoever their fullback was. They just basically ran 3 straight plays where they threw out of the fullback, and like the Rams were not prepared for it because every time, basically throughout the whole season, if they had their fullback in, they would have run the ball, but they didn't. And I'm pretty sure they threw it to Gronk 3 straight times on like not like a post route, but something like almost like a wheel route kind of for a tight end. But yeah, if they make the Super Bowl this year, I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I think I'm just gonna be done. Like, cool. Like, I'll just read in the news that Tom Brady won the seventh ring. Like, cool. I just can't go through that frustration ever again. At least not with Brady. Like, if the Pats make it without Brady, I'll be fine. It's just too quick. But yeah, just to wrap up with Antonio Brown, if I was in Mike Mayock's shoes, I would try to resolve it. At least like play a couple games, and but the problem is like if he plays a couple games, I don't know how the guaranteed money works, but like just let him eat the money. You're not gonna do well this year without him, certainly, and like there's a chance that you do well with him. So why save the money to spend on? Like, you can't spend it now because there's no players now. They're all on their teams. Like maybe in the off season, but I don't know who you're gonna go after. Like Melvin Gordon or something. You'd have to trade for Melvin Gordon now, and he'll probably get on a new team and sign some extension. But I think he's too good. I understand that like this is the second team he's done this to, and he's just. It seems like he just, I don't know, it seems like he's childish and just immature, doesn't really understand how to be part of a team almost, but like, he's just good enough that you have to conform to him, like you have to meet his needs. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap that up because he doesn't even play this week. He can't because you have to wait like a couple days or so. Yeah, going to the Thursday night game, this is both defenses looked really good. Rodgers didn't do a whole lot. Tribusky looked terrible. He looked trash. So the Bears were able to sack Rodgers 5 times, while the Packers also sacked Tribusky 5 times and held the Bears to 3 for 15 on 3rd down. So this is, like I said, this was a defensive battle that I thought was more interesting than last year's Super Bowl. However, that level of interest might be due to having no professional football for over 6 months than it actually being that good of a game. But I don't know, it was close, and then, like, you always thought that Rodgers would do something special. You always think that. And it just seemed like the Bears' defense is fast. Like, they're so quick. And the way that I forget who their DC is, but the way that they just skies blitzes is so like unbelievable. It's fantastic. It seems like they're sending 8, but then they send 5, and you think and the 5 are coming from the left, even though it looked like it was coming from the right. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, I really think this whole game was just how bad Tribusky was. I don't even think I'm saying his name right, but you don't deserve to get the right pronunciation, I think. Seems like he just missed throws. He wouldn't throw to wide open receivers. Like, there was this one play where Allen Robinson was just wide open, and he could have just like dumped a little dinky pass over the top of I think a linebacker was kind of following him, but he kind of was a little scared or timid and just kind of ran out of bounds, or maybe he didn't run out of bounds, maybe he threw it away. But however, I blame a little of Matt Nagy on this. I didn't think he really helped out his team. Like they threw the ball 45 times. And then they only ran the ball 15 times. So that's completely off balance, and that is not a good game plan when you have Tribusky at QB. Like Nagy needs to put his team in a better situation to win. They need to create a run game in order for their offense to look adequate. Also, he should have adjusted more in this game, particularly. Like it's a defensive war, which he should have ran the ball more. He should have noticed that at halftime and just been like, okay, like Tribusky isn't playing well. So we need to run the ball more, whether that's with Tariq Cohen, because I got him on my fantasy team, but I forget who their actual starting running back is. Because Jordan Howard, I think, is on the what's it called? The Eagles. Try to look that up now. But really, so Tribusky, his problem is he can't really find. Like after his first read, he really struggled. Like they showed that stat where David Montgomery is their starting. Interesting. Okay. But he really struggles, or Tribusky really struggles with past that first read. Basically, if he throws the ball under 3 seconds, maybe like 2.5, he's really good. Like his QBR is great. Like even in this game, I think he was like 8 for 9 for a touchdown or something. But when he like goes past that first read, it's just that's when it gets into trouble. He can't really find the next guy. So, I mean, definitely if he keeps this play up, he's gone. I wouldn't like to see him. And Alfred last week was saying that Tribusky and Mariota are probably the ones on the chopping block, which I definitely agreed with at the time. But this week Mariota actually played really well, and I'll get into that later. But what I was really surprised about was the Packers defense in this game. Like they were unbelievable, and I know it's Tribusky. It's not going to be great. Like the Bears' offense is, like Matt Nagy's a great offensive play caller, but it's just when you have that quarterback, you can't really do much. But they looked really good. They put a ton of pressure on their, outside of like Allen Robinson, the wide receivers really didn't do much. And I mean they got the job done. They just got the one touchdown, and you know it's all about wins and losses in this game. So, good for them. So now I'm going to go into the Buffalo Bills New York Jets game, which I thought it was incredible, just because they came back from 16-0 in the middle of the third, maybe late the third. I forgot when they get that field goal, but so starting out in this game, I really liked how the offense looked. Like Josh Allen was throwing shorter throws, and I guess they were doing that in preseason, but I only watched like one game, the Lions game. He looked bad in that game. And like, yes, he had 4 turnovers in the first half and 2 turnovers in the first like 5 minutes of this game. But honestly, so like that first drive, like they were calling audibles, they were doing no huddles, they were like throwing those. Like, it was really, like, well, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say, like, it reminded me of Brady, but it really didn't. But he was throwing those 7 to 10 yard passes and just getting the ball down the field, moving the ball, like, I was like, woo! And, like, I feel like I've never seen this team call audibles, like, almost, well, it definitely can't be ever, but just, like, called, like, 2 or 3 in that first opening drive, and I was like, okay, like, you're reading the defense, you're adjusting to it, So really, hats off to Dable. He really should get a lot of credit there. But you also gotta give it to Brandon Beane for being able to sign Beasley and Brown and really just help out for that mid-range game. But those 4 turnovers in the first half really killed them, and but their defense looked lights out though. Like Matt Milano pretty much jacked up that one dude. I forget, it was some wide receiver. Shaq Lawson looked really good. I did not think he would start as much. I thought it would be like Jerry Hughes and I guess Phillips is the defensive tackle. I thought I would have seen more Oliver, but it makes sense because he's a rookie. But yeah, Lawson got like a pretty good sack in the first half and like a deflected pass. But really, like in the first half, it was really just their offense. Like that pick six, I threw it too low to Beasley, and Beasley probably should have caught that. But it was it was low and fast, so I shouldn't blame him completely. And let's see, and then so they it's kind of crazy. They had that they're down 16-0, and they kind of got the ball moving, and then they got a field goal. Then Josh Allen ran for a touchdown for a bit, or for that first touchdown, and then he threw that like really good back shoulder throw to John Brown. And I thought out of all the additions for the Bill, like Cole Beasley, I thought did not look good, and I don't even know what his stats were, but John Brown looked great. And Devin Singletary was awesome too. That was a great third round pick, at least in this spring. And then to go, I guess on the Jets side, CJ Mosley looked fantastic. He was a great addition. Seemed like he was flying all over the field. Tremaine Johnson looked good. Jamal Adams was great as well. So their defense was on par and literally scored 8 points for them. So, yeah, it was just. It seemed like, I don't know if it was more on Darnold or their wide receivers. They just really couldn't get that much of a passing game going, unless they were throwing to Le'Veon Bell, who looked really good in this first game back. He was hard to tackle, and like Bills had the second best defense according to DVOA last year. So, like easy breaking tackles from Milano and Alexander and Edmonds, like those are big guys to just blow through. But going back to Josh Allen though, he did have those 4 turnovers in the first half, but like right, so that fumble, the second fumble, Mitch Morse kind of fucked up the snap, and he kind of got like pushed back, and that's why Josh couldn't really, like, he never really touched the ball. And then so the first fumble was definitely his fault because he should have had more control of it. The second pick was also his fault, and then, or I guess the first pick was definitely his fault. He threw it too fast and too low, so you can't really blame that on Beasley. And then the second pick was kind of just unfortunate. He kind of just threw it, and it got deflected. But it was over, like, outside of those turnovers, he went for 24-37 for 250 yards passing. And I don't know exactly what that percentage-wise is, but that's much better than his 52% he averaged last year. And 254 yards passing for a Bills quarterback is amazing after the like under 200 yards Tyrod would get. Who I still miss. I wish he was still on his team, but really, like, Josh Allen looked good. The offense looked great in my opinion. According, like, they kept showing the stat in the first quarter where the running backs didn't touch the ball for the first 15 plays or so, which is so wild to me because those offenses normally just, we're gonna pound the ball, we're gonna run it through your throat. But when you look at the analytics, you're supposed to throw it more on first down. You're supposed to, throw 50. You're supposed to do what Matt Nagy did and throw for 45 times and run for 15. Even if you do have better running backs, but I don't know. They somehow managed to get the win. Now they got a pretty easy schedule going forward. They play the Giants next week, and then I think the Bengals, and then they host the Patriots on the 29th. So I'm assuming that 29th could be a trap game because they could easily go 3-0, and then everyone's gonna be hyped, and that's gonna be our year that we're finally beat them, and I might succumb to that pressure. But Yeah. Anyways, moving around the NFL, the Titans demolished the Browns in shocking manner, 43-13, and I mean, I did not see this one coming. He Mariota outplayed Mayfield, which like I said, I thought he was on his way out, and he outplayed the most hyped up quarterback of this offseason. So he was 2 for 48. Or he threw for 248 yards, Mariota, and was 14 for 24 with 3 TDs and no picks. And then Mayfield had 285 yards on 25 of 38 for 1 touchdown and 2 picks. So, I mean, yards per attempt too, Mariota destroyed Mayfield. And, I mean, he made no mistakes. And I know Derrick Henry had a big game too. Yeah, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. AJ Brown, I have no idea who that is. He caught 100 yards. Delaney Walker got the 2 TDs. That makes sense. Kind of shocked out the Browns defense just let the Titans go to town on them. I know Malcolm Butler had that pick six, so that's not really on the defense, but they just let this one go. You got Myles Garrett. That's a pretty good secondary on your team. I don't know, but I guess you kind of or at least I forgot that the Titans were a game away from making the playoffs last year, and before they lost to the Colts in Week 17. So yeah, I don't know. Good win for the Titans. The Browns look bad. This is everyone's not really a sleeper, but a team that should have produced more or had a better season last year. Moving on, I ended up watching the Giants-Cowboys game, which started off well if you're a Giants fan. They stopped Dak around midfield and scored on their first possession, but it was all Dallas from there on out. The Giants' secondary looked horrendous, and Dak threw for 405 yards and 4 touchdowns. Those stats are inflated since the Giants' secondary is so young and inexperienced, and I don't expect him to keep playing as well. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. I think he's pretty average, and he has the best offensive line. He has one of the best running backs in the game, and you play against a defense that's just they're just not good. They don't really know what they're doing. They left people wide. They left Gallup open a lot. They Cooper. No one could guard Cooper on that team. So, yeah, it's just the start of a terrible season if you're a Giants fan. And if you're a Cowboys fan, I wouldn't really look too much into this game. You got to compete with, the Eagles or, some better team, and you could compare that. And then nothing else too surprising. So, the Chiefs played a close game with the Jags, but ended up winning that. The Ravens destroyed the Dolphins. And the Eagles almost lost to the Redskins, which was kind of shocking, but they pulled that one out. So the Chargers Colts, though, the later game today, it went into overtime, which is nuts because I would have thought the Chargers would have easily handled this team without luck. But Brissett was good this game. He was 21 of 27 for 190 yards and 2 TDs. But that's all he has to do. He just needs to manage the game, and they'll be fine. And really, so the Colts could have won this game if Adam Vinatieri made a 29-yard field goal at the end of the third quarter, but they didn't. And then they went to overtime. Chargers won the coin toss, and they just marched down the field and scored. So, good showing for the Colts, though. This team was good last year with luck, and it's good to see them that they're still kind of pulling through. We'll just see how long this lasts. The Chargers defense is good, so it's good that Brissett didn't really make any big mistakes. And that's just what he got to do. What he has to do all year long. I guess so. That Lions Cardinals game ended up being a tie. It was weird because I saw that it was like 17-3 Lions. I wonder, Kyler Murray might have kind of came back, and I mean they tied. And I don't think Detroit's gonna be that good either. But yeah, it looks like they got both of them got a field goal in overtime. So, Kyler Murray. Oh, he touched 54 passes. Damn. Okay, Clinsbury. Oh wow. Larry Fitzgerald had 8 receptions, 113 yards. Yeah, that's Clinsbury offense is going to be very high volume passing. Just going around the rest of the league. 49ers beat the Bucks 31-17. Oh, the Rams and Panthers played pretty close. Rams won 30-27 over Panthers. New England's already up 7-0 on the Steelers. Great. But yeah, it was a good first week. I mean, the Bills won. That's always good on my book. It seemed like there were some good games that I just didn't watch. The Bills-Jets game, I guess, turned out good because it was close, just competitive, like late touchdown drive. The Jets were slightly moving. Then they had a turnover on downs, and they just got too much pressure to Darnold. He didn't seem like, I don't know. Like, it seemed like he played better than Allen just because he didn't have like turnovers, but they really didn't get the ball moving at all in the first half. And I would credit the Bills' defense just because they're that good. But yeah, not a great showing for him. So I'm gonna move on. Let's finish this off with the USA and Mexico game that was on Friday night. And if you didn't hear or didn't see it, they got rocked. They lost 3-0 in the first friendly of 2 during this international break. The Americans looked pretty good for the first 20 minutes or so. They generated a couple of chances while keeping possession pretty even with El Tri. Corona put the filthiest move on first cap Sergio Dest. I think he's playing left back because Reggie Cannon was playing right back. And then he put a perfect cross into Chicharito. But right, so first off, okay, like Dest is gonna make a mistake like that. Like he's might get burned. It's his first appearance for the team. But like, how the hell do you leave someone like Chicharito that open on a cross? Like, I know the defense consists of younger players. Like, I think it was Aaron Long and Walt Zimmerman. I think Aaron Long was definitely the like left center back, and I think Walt Zimmerman was. I'll probably just look this up now. Was the other one, but like, I don't know, someone like Will Trapp or Morales. You gotta guard him. He's the best player out there. Yeah, Walt Zimmerman. Yep. But yeah, from then on out, Mexico completely dominated possession and controlled the entire game. I like the Berhalter like possession style play. Like, we need to keep the ball more. I think it's more of like an international flow. Like, you keep possession, limit it for the rest of the team. But doing that, Zach Steffen had a couple of bad passes in the back, and one eventually led to a goal for Eric Gutierrez, who plays for PSV Eindhoven. And his teammate, his teammate Chucky Lozano, so they both came on around, I think Gutierrez was like 76, and Chucky came on like 7. So they both made it. Like, Gutierrez scored like 2 minutes after coming on. But Chucky Lozano was like, oh my god, he was so fast. He had great control of the ball, good awareness. And the third goal, he completely owned Alfredo Morales, and rushed down the field to find Uriel Atunya for the third goal of the match, and it was pretty much over. That was like, I think the 83rd minute or something like that. So when you look at this team that the U.S. put out, it was pretty much a younger team, and I think they really wanted to just give more younger players more experience. So anyone that pretty much knows me that I'm not a big Michael Bradley fan. Like, I really think there's some nepotism because his dad was the coach and he just was given all these opportunities. That being said, like, when he's on, he's pretty good, at least like passing wise, be able to generate chances up for the forwards. But now, okay, like, I feel like he's less consistent. I really don't think he played defense. I don't think he's fast enough to compete with these like Mexican players. Like I know Herrera is old, but like, I don't know. I just feel like Herrera is still more athletic than Michael Bradley. So first off, when I saw that he wasn't coming to this camp, I thought that was like great. Like, great, they're moving on. They're like choosing to play with younger players because, like, Michael Bradley is 32. He'll be 35 during the 2022 World Cup. And I don't think they'll want to play him, or they should be playing him. So it's perfect for someone like Alfred Morales and Will Trapp to get the reps they would need, so they would be more prepared during the Hex qualifications, and we don't run into the nightmare of the United States not qualifying. But I looked it up today and I found out that the reason was just because of MLS scheduling, and that Toronto FC had a game Friday or maybe Saturday or something, and they just couldn't make it. So I think you might see Bradley on Tuesday when they play Uruguay. But so speaking of the two younger central midfielders that played, I thought Morales actually played really well. Outside of getting burned by Chucky, I think he showed some quick little moves on the offensive end and showed he actually could play defense. So like Will Trapp, I felt like was pretty invisible, and I didn't see much of him. Honestly, either player like wasn't really good enough to bring up the ball to Yossi Zardes or Weston McKennie. So like, it was weird because when I looked on there, so I know they were playing a 4-4-2, but I guess they were playing like a. Yes, can't be right. So they're playing a 4-3-3, I think. And they had Weston McKennie on the right side as a midfielder. Or no, they definitely had. I don't know. Never mind. I'm just not trusting this Google lineup that they had a 4-4-1-1 with Weston McKennie in the middle, because I felt like Weston was more on the right side. But whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't really think either of them didn't really bring up the ball well, which couldn't really generate chances, which is why they scored 0 goals. But still, like, this game is a learning experience for both of them, and I hope it actually leads to results. I want to see more of Morales. I don't know much about Will Trapp. I don't know. I wasn't very impressed. Maybe we'll see him on Tuesday's game, but the announcers were saying that the lineup's going to look a lot different on Tuesday than on Friday. So, also, so I totally did not mention this, but at the end of the match, I forgot who drew the penalty. But, so yeah, United States got a penalty kick. It was very weird that Pulisic just gave it to Josh Sargent, 19-year-old prodigy with 8 total caps, dating back to last year. So, like, Christian Pulisic, this is your team, and you have to take the penalties. Like, you have not taken one over the course of your tenure on the U.S. men's national team, and you also need the reps taking the shot. Like, this is in this game, you're down 3-0. It's a penalty, like it's a friendly. You're not gonna come back in the 88th minute. So like you need to be the one that's shooting that shot. And Sargent took like a decent shot, it had good pace, but the location wasn't far left enough, and Orozco guessed right pretty much. And honestly, I don't really get why more goalkeepers don't dive. Like you should almost, in my opinion, you should almost always dive right, right-footed kicker, and you should always dive left because it's just easier to kick that way. Like your momentum is going that way. But I don't know, maybe it's just like at this high level that they, if you just dove one way, they would just almost always go the other way. So, but yeah, it's just strange. Like Christian, this is your team. Like this is you are the guy. So you need to be the one taking penalty kicks. You need to be like Landon Donovan, or I guess Bradley would be the point. Or no, I think Clint Dempsey took some out. Whatever. But also what's kind of interesting was, so in the Gold Cup final, basically the U.S. team was more of their A team, and the Mexican team was more of their B team, and Mexico still won that one, 1-0. And then this friendly, the Mexican team was like maybe not exactly their A team, but they had their better players. Like the Gold Cup Mexican team did not feature Chicharito, Tragozano, Hector Herrera, or Corona. And this team did. This team had it. So, and then the U.S. men's team, they didn't have Josie Altidore this game. They didn't have Bradley. I don't think Zimmerman started in the middle for that game. I forget. I mean, definitely Pulisic, Weston McKennie played. Yassi, yeah. And then Yassi was more new. Reggie Cannon definitely played. I remember him. Actually, yeah. Also going to Reggie Cannon. I liked his play this game. I liked it more in the Gold Cup final, but I feel like he's fast. I kind of like how wide these like him and Dest were getting this game. I really enjoyed that offensively. But yeah, all in all, this was just a bad game for the U.S. But they had a lot of young, newer players that got to play in an intense atmosphere and gain experience to help them qualify for the World Cup, which is pretty much all that matters at this point. Like, you just lost twice to Mexico. You're clearly not the best team in CONCACAF, or just North America and the Caribbean. So, I just think your goal is to get the players' experience in these friendlies so that you can have a more cohesive unit, and hopefully be able to pick the right players, pick the right formations, have the right game plans, and just, don't lose to Trinidad and Tobago in the last game when they're the worst team in the Hex and you need that win to qualify. So, as long as that doesn't happen, I don't know. I would say I'm not worried about it, but I kind of am. Like, they did not look good this game. I don't even think they looked that great when they played Mexico in that final. So, I don't know. But yeah, this is going to wrap it up for this week's Snowflake Sports Podcast. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.